Nostalgia is something that everybody born before Skibbity Toilet can feel. Maybe it was your mom's home cooking, or a favorite TV show from back then, or a video game you used to play with your friends. And looking back at it makes you yearn for the times when life was simpler, but it's also been blinding you. You ever look back at something, take a trip down memory lane and realize that it isn't the same as you thought it was? Those rose-tinted lenses were preventing you from seeing the reality, okay? It was blue-pilling you. Many people form their opinions on certain things based on how it was when they first experienced it. They may remember something to be good or terrible because when they were a kid they saw it as good or terrible, and then 6, 7, 8,000 years later they realize that, hey, it actually isn't that bad, or wow, this was very terrible. It's usually the latter. That video game you love? Boring. That TV show you liked? Cringe. And those SpaghettiOs you oh so loved? Disgusting. Actually, SpaghettiOs are pretty fire, even now. The point is, nostalgia can refrain you from seeing things the way they actually are. And many people criticize a lot of modern things for not being the way it was when they were younger. Like, I find it hard to believe that fast food was just goated 20 years ago. I think you were just a kid. That one video game you loved oh so much wasn't actually good. You just had the attention span of a goldfish. And under no circumstance could you ever convince me that pot roast is good. Wait, that's not part of the topic. I see online all the time about, oh wow, this thing was so good back then. Oh, why don't they do something like this how it was back then? Listen, you're wrong. 5-year-old you loved it because 5-year-old you didn't understand the concept of quality. You know how easy it is to just make kids love things? For their birthday, you could just give them any other toy, right? It could be like $30 or maybe $300 because, toy companies love price gouging the customers because their kids won't stop yapping about the new Nerf gun or the new Beyblade or the Skibbity Toilet plushie that has haunted their dreams for seconds. You could literally just give a kid a Hot Wheel and they'll leave you alone for at least a month. You can give a kid anything and they'll love it, unless it's an avocado. There was this one time where I was in a kids club and we went to the younger kids classroom. I don't know the reason. Maybe a teacher was gone, somebody blew up, or somebody's car turned into Optimus Prime and rolled out. We were in there just chilling for a little bit. We were watching the activities that the little kids were doing. They had a dance competition. They all got in a little circle and were having a dance competition. Ooh, yes, cool, I know. I was watching. There was this one kid. He lays on his hands and starts flailing his legs, and the crowd goes wild. They're like, whoa, oh my gosh, that's so cool. What do you mean? This kid is not doing anything. What is that? That's not dancing. You're having a panic attack. You're spazzing out. What is this schizo nonsense? Kid was lucky I didn't go over there and start busting a move, popping and locking it, alright? I would have owned that kid. And this is as much as for you, my girlfriend, your dog, alright? Nobody can touch me at Just Dance, alright? Nobody can touch me at Just Dance. Why did I do that? Kids will literally love anything, alright? Pretty much anything you do, they would want to do because the fact that you're older is cool to them. What are the chances of something that you used to watch or enjoy or eat was only enjoyable because you didn't have anything better? It was probably really easy to love the Happy Meals at McDonald's, alright? But once you're ready to upgrade, put your big boy pants on and try that Big Mac, you start questioning your entire life, dog. Another thing, I know, Storytime Part 2. Ooh. When I was little, I used to watch this show called Power Rangers Jungle Fury. Looking at it as a kid, I was like, whoa, that's so cool, because, Power Rangers were cool, and they did all these flips and kicks and explosions and twerking, and what? This was one of the Power Rangers I really enjoyed, and I decided years later to look back on it and look back at the title sequence, because I was like, you know what, that title sequence was banged. That was awesome. I really love that. That got me hyped up for the show. I loved Power Rangers Jungle Fury's title sequence, alright? I watched it and I was very disappointed. The melody was still the same because that's kind of what I was able to remember, since it was so long since I actually watched it, but the lyrics were just garbage. I was disappointed. And then I took a step back and I was like, wait, I was 4 when I was watching this. And that was when I realized nostalgia is a liar. It's deceiving, okay? It's a trickster. It's not there to be your friend. It isn't your friend, all right? It's your enemy. It's your immortal enemy, because nostalgia will always exist, but it's not there for any good reason. Am I gonna look back and say, wow, Big Macs 20 years ago were just way better than they were now? No, I won't, because you know what? It's gonna be the same. And and if it's not, it's gonna be some little minor change. You know, they might start putting horse instead of, you know, processed sludge in it, you know what I mean? It's probably the same thing, you just got older and quality started being introduced and you started to see things a lot differently. A big video game that people like to say was really great back then was Rainbow Six Siege, and talk about how it was all serious and dark and very cool back then, but now it's just colorful and unrealistic. I kind of disagree with that. I will say this, old Siege looked much cooler, and I think it would be really cool to have a game like that. A lot of people don't seem to be remembering the issues the old Siege had. Although the old version looks cool, the lighting in it was very terrible, so it made it really hard to see people in the buildings. I'm sure there were many mechanics that people didn't enjoy, and I'm sure you can all remember the Sniper 90. Plus, Tachanka now is better than old Tachanka, so fight me. There were a lot of issues and bugs at that time that people don't really seem to talk about. And although, yes, Siege seemed more dark and cool back then, it sure had its own set of issues that so many people hated. Also, old Ibana Portrait better. Another big thing that so many people like to talk about is old YouTube, right? They'll talk about how old YouTube was way better, and it was edgier, all this stuff was there, and it was just way better than this corporate, soft YouTube that we have now. Dog, looking back at those old YouTube videos, it was not better. Again, I think the fact that you were younger and your perception of quality wasn't there yet, so you were able to just watch something and really enjoy it because that's all that was given to you. As good as those videos were back then, looking at them now, comparing them to the stuff we have now, it's not better. You can't tell me that a Markiplier video from 2016 beats a Markiplier video from now. Call yourself a Nightcore fan? Because that just doesn't exist. Fast and Furious is also a series that a lot of people talk about, saying that it's weird and stupid, and it is very much, but so are the old ones. In fact, I think the entirety of Fast and Furious just sucks. I've seen the entire series and I just don't like any of it. Tokyo Drift is like one of the worst ones. That movie just sucks. I can't stand it. It has like one cool scene and that's it. I won't even get into the conversation about old cars. I think anybody with a brain can understand that old cars are just not better than the new ones. More durable? Sure. Better in terms of quality and capability? No. Now, are there some exceptions? Yes. Like old video games are just some old video games that are just peak and way better than the new stuff now. Video games now are terrible. Same thing with movies. There are a lot of older movies that are just way better. Some of Disney's old stuff really slaps, dog. You can see the passion and the dedication and creativity in those. The stuff they come out with now, I can probably whip up on my computer with a Taco Bell $5 box. You know what? I might just do that. Now playing Transformers 7 Attack of the Skibbities. Nostalgia is valid sometimes, and there are definitely cases where things were just better back then. For a lot of other things, and I'd argue even the majority of things probably weren't that way. And you're only seeing that because of your current perception at the time. Unless they're monster trucks. Monster trucks will never not be cool.